So when it comes to nutrition, what is it that you need to eat to gain muscle? Because as we know, you're going to have to eat more food, but of course you can't just eat any random crap. You don't want to do that. All right. You know, what you eat in private, you wear in public. That saying goes true, especially when it comes down to getting lean, gaining muscle, things like that. So the goal is when you're trying to gain muscle in your 40s, you actually, contrary to what you think, you're going to need to eat more food. But we're not just talking about any kind of food. You're going to be eating good nutrient-dense food. Nutrient-dense foods meaning proteins, carbs, fats, the good stuff, not your Snickers bars, not Pop-Tarts, not Oreos. You know, while that may get you bigger, that gets the wrong muscle, like the table muscle, aka your stomach. That gets that bigger, that doesn't grow the muscles. Eating good lean protein, eating good carbs for fuel, good fats, that is where your muscle is going to grow. So I recommend increasing your calories by anywhere from about 250 to 500 and start there. And then I'll show you how to track your progress in a little bit. So if you tend to be on the smaller end of the spectrum, say you're under 150 pounds, you're trying to gain good quality muscle, about a 250 calorie increase is plenty. But let's say you're on the larger end of the system. Let's say you're, 200, 250, 300 pounds, then 500 calories or even more can be a good increase. And I mean increasing it by, let's say if you're used to eating 2,000 calories a day, then you're eating 2,500 a day until you have to make changes. I don't mean adding 500 calories per day. That'd be crazy, all right? So you're increasing your calories by about 250 to 500 calories per day, and you're gonna primarily do this, probably in the very beginning, in the forms of protein. Protein will be the most common one that you will probably use. Now, for a good rule of thumb, we're talking about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, what about if you have a lot of body fat to lose? All right, you might want to go more into a fat loss style things and not really worry about this yet. You can still eat and still follow good nutrition practices. This is really geared to, hey, I'm within maybe 10 to 15 pounds of a good, lean, healthy weight. I'm just concerned about adding weight right now. Okay, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now, right off the bat, focus on lean protein. You can do fattier proteins of sorts, such as your fattier cuts of meat, but make sure that you're getting your blood work checked on a frequent basis, because if you're noticing cholesterol is taking a negative trend and it's having a negative impact on your body, that might have something you have to address, and only really you and your doctor are going to know what the best option is on that one. So we're going to increase it, lean protein, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. I know that seems like a lot, but also remember, guys, protein is used for more than just muscle. Protein is basically amino acids. And amino acids are the foundation for a lot of the things that we use in the body. Protein is used for more than just muscle. We use protein for gut health, immune system health, bone health, things of that nature. Amino acids really are used for a ton in the body. So it's more than just muscle. We're talking about overall health and body function here. So now what about people that don't want to do, animal protein? That's perfectly fine. You're going to do plant-based protein in that case. Perfectly fine. But one thing I will say this, make sure it is a complete protein, meaning it contains all the necessary amino acids that the body needs to utilize for health purposes and for muscle building purposes. If you ever want a list of what complete proteins look like, look up plant-based proteins and look up complete plant-based proteins. You can Google that and you can get a list of foods that pair well together to make a complete protein. Now, what about for people that are worried about, hey, will protein, too high levels of protein make me sick? Again, talk to you and your doctor. It depends on autoimmune conditions, a lot of other physiological factors, and it can also depend on, do you have certain conditions that do require you to be on the lower spectrum? Again, only you and your doctor, and only you really know that at that point in time. So we already talked about plant protein, making sure it's complete protein. Now, what about carbs? Are carbs good, bad, things of this nature? If you are trying to gain muscle, you need carbs, okay? You will need carbs. Carbs are gonna be the gas in the gas tank. This is what's gonna allow you to have those great workouts. And let's be honest, guys, to gain muscle, you have to have good workouts. So you have to have amazing workouts. And the only way, and one of the best ways to have amazing workouts is you are going to need some carbs. Carbs will help you have better workouts. The more better workouts you have, the more muscle you end up growing, as long as you follow good nutrition rules in this one, okay? So I always recommend carbs before and after a workout. Okay, when it comes down to carbs before the workout, the soonest I recommend is about 90 minutes before a workout. If you start consuming carbs, let's say 30 minutes before a workout, it probably hasn't had enough time to digest and get into your bloodstream before you can actually use it. And then lo and behold, you might end up running sick. So 90 minutes is the soonest that I recommend having a good source of carbs before the workout. But also after you work out, make sure you have carbs after the workout as well. You just depleted your gas tank, let's refill it back up. Now, what about those 5 a.m. peeps? You are that person, okay, that gets up at 4:30 in the morning, and the thought of eating 90 minutes before your 5 a.m. workout seems completely out of the question. All right, so for you, just make sure your dinner beforehand has carbs. You'll have it in your system. Start there. That'll be a good place to be as of right now. All right. Now, I would also recommend having protein or good nutrient foods throughout the day. When you start getting into the point you're consuming a lot of calories, I find especially women, when you start getting over the 1,800 calorie, 2,000, 2,200 calorie a day marker, you know, trying to only consume it in 2 or 3 meals, it's a lot for the body to digest. You're probably feeling puffy, bloated, and full. So break it up in possibly 4 meals. 400 or 500 calorie meals will be a little better for you. Guys, when you start cracking into the realms of 3,000, 4,000, even 5,000 calories, yes, we have members here that will do 5,000 plus calorie days to grow the amount of muscle they want to grow. If you're in that case, you probably have to break it up and even into every 2 to 3 hours, every 2.5 hours. Only you gotta know what's best for you on that one. But as your meals, calories get bigger, just know you might have to spread that throughout the day more, just so you don't feel so heavy, puffy, and bloated. And we found, you know, science doesn't always back this part up, but we have found that whenever you have these protein, you know, your nutrients spread throughout the day, the body tends to digest it a little better. Like, it's like your body utilizes it a little more effectively. Again, that's just anecdotal observation. You do what feels right to you on that one. All right, as we said, 4 meals tends to be a good ideal starting point for this. All right.